What is up, my ninjas? This is Strident here, bringing you a kind of overdue video game demo review. Now, I'm a huge fan of games where I get to pilot vehicles, or drive vehicles. And I've been a fan of the Ace Combat series since the inception of the series. I had the first one. I worked at GameStop for a long time, so I was able to borrow or rent all the others. The first one and the second one were my favorites, and then there was one, I think it was Zero. That one was cool, but I got tired of the kind of overly dramatic anime style. It felt like anime storytelling and whatnot. It didn't feel so. It didn't feel like a visceral, real American, military story. I mean, aspects of it did, but overall it didn't. But the gameplay was the thing that didn't change enough for me. So when I saw the trailers for Assault Horizon, I was like, holy shit. That was like instant gamer, boner, and the whole nine. And I'm just like, wow, okay. And I'm not even that hardcore as far as gamers go. I play every now and then because a lot of games these days are really violent, and I'm not trying to have my little son, paying attention to all of that yet, because we are action junkies in my house, and in good time he will be exposed to the goodness that is old-fashioned malicious action hero violence. But anyway, this brings me to the subject of this demo. For a while I had forgotten that the demo actually was released. So here I am. I had the game. I had my, PS3 set up. I had the ability to get this demo, but I just had forgot about it. A lot of other things popped up, like getting married. So, I wasn't paying attention to it. But finally, I got around to downloading the demo, getting a chance to go through and play it. And it was, it kind of blew me away at first. The game is really impressive graphically, and they finally did the thing that I had been wanting it to do. It made the action straight up cinematic, I had been waiting to be able to, dogfight with, my enemies in cities up close, so that I could actually see, what was going on, so I could be impressed. The demo dropped on the 26th of this. Well, actually, it wasn't the 26th. It was earlier this month. Sorry. Since then, I played it a couple times. I beat the. You have two campaigns. You have the fighter campaign and you have the helicopter campaign, and I beat the fighter campaign like the first try out the box, got the hang of everything. Now the helicopter campaign, at first I was like, what the fuck, because this was the first time that you flew a helicopter in a pretty realistic fashion. I mean, like in Mercenaries, I'm ridiculous with helicopters. It doesn't matter which one. That's my weapon of choice. Once, it's probably the only thing you can use in the air. In other games, the old Battlefield games, I liked helicopters and stuff like that. But, I've always liked the helicopters. But in this game, it was weird because they give you these very specific controls. And there's very specific things you have to do in order to achieve your goals. And it seems like you're flying with a crew, but you're the only shooter. I mean, you've got several Delta squad or Delta team helicopters coming with you. And these guys, Delta soldiers, are no joke. But these guys are just watching you kill everything. So I was getting frustrated. But, I played it a couple more times, and then I figured out what I needed to do. And I still like it. The thing that blew me away with the helicopter mode was when you have to evade an RPG or a missile. The move that you use is a barrel roll, which is amazing because up until the A-Team, you had never really seen this, the recent A-Team movie. And I always was like, they have to be able to do this. I remember seeing Wild Bill do it in G.I. Joe a couple times. And you think because it's G.I. Joe, oh, it's fake. Well, guess what? It's real. Very real. You can go on YouTube and look it up. At air shows all over the world, a lot of helicopter pilots do often get to show off these tricks, you know, and a lot of helicopters are very similar in stature and design to planes. You know, maybe their wings are a little off as far as 100% plane dynamics and size and everything, but maneuverability, they have a one-up, and they can pull off some of the same tricks that, you know, planes can do. But back to the demo in general, it's pretty awesome. It's doing for the Air Combat or Ace Combat series what Call of Duty was doing for the presentation of first-person military shooters, and I dig this. I'm a big fan of G.I. Joe. I'm a big fan of military, you know, stories and military games when they're not like overly preachy and just stupid hoorah nonsense like Call of Duty has become. Like I enjoyed Black Ops because Black Ops didn't have that feel. Black Ops was more like, you know, look at all the shit these guys go through, you know? Look at the situations they drop them in, and they have to figure out how to, you know, make it through this stuff as well as complete the mission. I mean, some of that exists in the other Call of Duty, like the World War II ones, but the fact that you get so many of them is what pissed me off, and it got on my nerves, because it's no longer a novelty when there's like 50 of them. I mean, the same issue goes to Street Fighter, you know? Martial arts are awesome, but if it's the same game 50 times, you kind of lose the effect after a while. Ace Combat, up until now, that's where they were going. You had some choice, like standout, you know, installments, but these installments still had the same feel as the others, and that's a good and a bad thing. I like when you get the same feel, but you upgrade with, you know, elements that make the overall experience a little bit more cinematic. I'm all about the cinematic experience, you know? When your video game system uses the same hardware that movie studios use for special effects, there's no excuse for me not to, you know, be getting games that feel more cinematic, you know? When some of the people who work on movies move over to the video game industry and start making games, there's no excuse for my games to not be ultimately cinematic, you know? I want, like, super cinematic presentation, super cinematic everything. I don't want to hear no MIDI shit. I don't want to hear no, you know, Casio keyboard bullshit. I want to hear high quality, you know, real sound effects. I want to hear high-end, full orchestral scores, or, you know, high-quality digital scores, if that's what's going on. I want my my models to be ridiculously high-resolution, high-polygon models. You know what I mean? I don't want generic-ass shit. And a lot of times, you know, you're getting a pretty package with shitty gameplay, and this is not the case. The gameplay is really cool. Now, the one thing I will complain about, though, is in the fighter missions, and this was an issue in the older Air Combat games and Ace Combat. If you approach an enemy and you get a lock on them, automatically, somehow they're changing their position and they fly towards you. But when you shoot your missiles, especially if you shoot your missiles as soon as you get your lock, they fly right past the missiles. I mean, I watch a lot of Discovery Channel, and I watched, there was a show about World War II pilots and all the things they would do to take out different types of planes, and the turning radiuses of these planes, and the speeds of these planes, and, you know, which countries had really ridiculous, you know, super fast planes. When I say super fast, I just mean in comparison. They're very high-speed planes in comparison to the ones that some of the older, the U.S. Pilots were using, and more maneuverable too. And these guys were showing their flight patterns and techniques to cut off enemy planes so that they could actually take them down using only their machine guns. Not missiles, machine guns. Now in this game, we're all using similar planes, but the computer is always 10 steps faster than you. And then when a target leader comes up, it's like, for real? These guys are flying like fucking UFOs. They're constantly under you, even when you're following the arrow to follow them. And, you know, it's more of that shit when programmers try to make the game challenging and it goes from being challenging to just ignorant, you know? Like, I learned that if I don't speed up and fly past everybody, if I don't try to engage dogfight mode, and I just sit back and let them fly all around the place and only get within, like, I don't know, 5 planes distance of these guys, or 6 planes distance, I can hit them with missiles and I don't have to do anything, and the game looks really cheesy. But if you chase them around and try to do all the cool maneuvering and stuff like that, you'll find out things like there is a mission area, and if you go too far out of the mission area, you lose. The bad guys don't, but you do. And they will go out of the mission area. I've had it happen twice, and that's how I even learned that there was a mission area, because I don't remember mission areas in the older Ace Combat games. But if that is tweaked, because this is a demo, the game comes out very soon, and if that's tweaked, actually comes out the day after my girl's birth, or my fiance, her birthday. It's so weird getting used to now saying that. You got to convert. But they've got a little while to fix this from when this dropped, and they probably were working on it from before the demo came out. You know, demo set to release, and they were still working on the game. I would hope and pray that they fix those things, because if they do, this is like the best aerial combat anything that we've had in a long time, and I'm really looking forward to getting this game. This is one of my I think I have three or four top games that I've been looking for, you know, forward to for a long time. And it starts off with this. Then there's Drake 3. Then there's Saints Row the Third. And then Arkham City. I only put Arkham City at the end because there's a lot of hype surrounding Arkham City. And sometimes when the games are hyped up, if we've learned anything from this console generation, a lot of the more hyped up games, they're fun that first day or that first go through, and then you trade it and it's done. You know, God of War is my all-time favorite franchise, and part 3 was like I was so excited to play it. I got it, beat it. The ending and the story didn't go where I thought it was, because I heard what Dave Jaffe had planned, and I thought maybe, you know, him and Stig Asmussen would have spoke about this stuff, and it didn't go where I wanted it to go. It wasn't as epic as I expected it to be. So I was just like, wow, I traded it in. And I haven't really wanted to play it again, you know. There are parts of it I do, but overall I was just like, okay. And, you know, that's it. Arkham Asylum, super overhyped game, and I got it. I was enjoying it all the way through. I was happy. The ending was awesome, and then I tried to play it for a second time, and it didn't have the replay value I was expecting. I was very bored, and it wasn't because I knew where everything was. It just was something about it just didn't feel like there was much. There wasn't much that I didn't explore when I played the first time. So anyway, I'm hoping that, you know, this game lives up to the expectation that I've set for it, because it looks like it can be a monster. If you've never played an Ace Combat game and you jump on here, you'll love it, plain and simple. If you like these kind of games, it beats the shit out of Hawks. Hawks was an awful, really hard, like unnecessarily hard, overly complicated game. You know, if we want to go through all that shit, we'll join the Air Force and fucking fly planes for real. The gameplay feels fairly arcadish, because you're not like restricted in so many ways. You have a couple different control schemes that allow for different things. I think original allows for barrel rolls. Do a barrel roll. Whereas the default setting, it allows for more kind of like wing over wing turns. And you can't barrel roll in the same sense. You actually have to pull off the motion yourself, you know? Like tilt the plane, dive, tilt the plane some more, dive. So it's slower, and it's almost as if you're seeing it from the plane perspective, whereas when you play with the original setting, you just hit to the left and you'll spin. Or the right and you'll spin, left or right. But anyway, like I said, this game, I'm excited for it. It's about time we had something else besides a fucking first-person shooter to play that has military involved in it. And it's about time it was one written by someone other than Tom Clancy, that it was actually, like, you know, fairly well thought out. And it looks like, just listening to the bits and pieces of dialogue that you get in this demo, it feels like this game is going to have a little bit of a different tone than what we're used to with these kind of games and with the nonsense coming from the Call of Duty franchise overall. So check it out if you've got time. I heard the Xbox 360 version, if you have an older 360, there's like issues when you try to play it because it's graphically intensive, which is strange to me because Gears of War 3 is graphically intensive, and people's systems, I haven't really heard about people's systems blowing up, or, you know, I'm exaggerating, but the system's conking out on them while they're trying to play the game. But PS3 users, download it. You will enjoy it. The game is awesome. There is not a huge graphics difference like people keep trying to say, because the games are made on the same workstations. The conversion is the only thing that's different. But you know, Namco predominantly makes their games on PlayStation hardware. And this is how it's been since the inception of the PlayStation, starting from Ridge Racer all the way down. So if you got a PS3, you got to get this game if you like these kind of games. If you don't like these kind of games, then just ignore this. You probably won't be listening to this review. I don't know what else to say. So I'm looking forward to it. I hope you guys are. And I will probably be back with a review when the game drops. Well, a little after the game drops, because I'm not going to get it on day one. Unless I'm absolutely, like, you know, if I have the time, I'm going to jump in there and do it. But day one, like I said, is the day after my fiance's birthday, so I may not have the extra funds for that, but I could prepare for it. We'll see. We'll see. But anyway, stay tuned, and you'll see how this works out. And I've got some other reviews on the way. All right, guys. Peace.